Okay, so I'm giving a speech about how animal testing on drug testing on animals has adverse effects on humans. So my advocate's first claim was that rats have unique digestive systems, and it is true that rats have different digestive systems. However, there are various methods to deliver drugs while scientists are doing research on them. So for example, a scientist could inject the medicine or the drug directly to a rat's bloodstream, and it wouldn't have to go through the digestive system. So then the effects could be observed after that. And also, scientists can deliver them through an airborne method, such as through a gas or a airborne virus, and then it can be observed after that. The next claim was that monkeys have different brains, and therefore when neurological drugs are tested, the results don't always come out as accurately to portray the results as it should with the human brain. However, there are various non-human primates, as the FDA calls them, that researchers are allowed to use, who have various different types of brains. So if scientists use different types of primates, they're able to compare and contrast the effects on the brain to better understand how it might affect the human brain. And the final claim is that of 3 drugs that were tested with animals and caused, I believe, 793 deaths before they were recalled. Now, according to the FDA, a drug must go through 3 phases of human testing and laboratory testing after it has gone through animal testing and an application process. And even after that, these test results must go through various scientific reviews and applications before they are approved for public use. So given all this, there must have been an external factor to why the drugs caused such, the drugs failed in human patients after, and that's
time was?
There was like 2 minutes left.
Do you have an outline?
I didn't.
Okay. Well, you label the advocate's main point, that's pretty good, but there's no preview of what the supporting structure is. You just respond to the points as you go through it. It basically comes down to rats, monkeys, and human testing. So on the rats issue, you argue that that the advocate's only argument here is that they have different digestive systems, and you have a good counterclaim that says they could deliver the drugs being tested in other ways so that we don't have to worry about the digestive system. I think that's a legitimate claim to make. It would be helpful if you had some evidence to support that point, although I don't doubt that that's also true. The problem is if the medication is going to be consumed by humans through their digestive system, then it might make sense for them to have similar abilities to analyze it that way. I think that's another place where you need some information that talks about why, you know, the delivery system is maybe not as important as the fact that the effect that it has on the animals themselves, not necessarily on the particular way in which they consume it. On the monkey issue, I do think you have an interesting idea here, and that is that, you know, it's a variety of monkeys that we're looking at. They have different brains that they were evaluating for neurological issues. You know, I think it's a generic argument that you're presenting here, responding to a generic argument that the advocate presented, and if your evidence could be a little more precise, that would be helpful. I think the clearest spot where you have the best response and the best evidence is on the third point, which basically comes down to, you know, the truth of the matter is that all of these faults that have occurred after human testing, not just after animal testing. In fact, everything has to go through human testing before it is released to the public and made available for consumption, and that the animal testing led to the conclusion that it was safe. The human testing that we did, ultimately that there must have been some insufficiency in the testing somewhere, but it's not, you know, causality related to animal testing there. That's the point I think you're trying to make. All right, go away, folks. I'm sorry. I can